Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and all between the binary. This is Get Informed with the GA. I am G Lion. Thank you so much for tuning in. We have a good one for you today. I probably should close this door. I'll be right back. What do we do with a drunken sailor? What do we do with a drunken sailor? What do we do with a drunken sailor? We got drunken sailors, y'all. We have drunken sailors. Early in the morning. That's right. Drunken sailors early in the morning, and there's nothing you can do about it. Nothing. And speaking of drunken sailors, we have to have these, chit chats before we get into the real talks and the real issues. We like to have a bamfa. I like to have, like a early chit chat to make sure that people come in and they get settled down, and if someone is trying to catch up, they don't miss any important information, so on and so forth. So if you're just tuning in, there's 48 people. Thank you for coming in. I would really appreciate it if I get 48 shares and 48 likes. That would really tell the algorithm know that we are here, we are ready to go, and that would invite more people over. Thank you for your luck wishes for my doctor tomorrow. Appreciate you. Much, much appreciated. Um, Everything now is expensive, isn't it? Really expensive. I wanted to do something here. I wanted to do something. What do we do with a drunken sailor? What do we do with a drunken sailor? Is that right? That's fine. We are at 61. I'm just pulling out documents I have made for this today. You just wait a second for me. I would appreciate it. Meanwhile, I would like to remind you that we still have our store out and about, the official YG Lion Podcast store, where you can buy the merch, mugs, t shirts, signs, bags, hats, and I'm working on hiring a my own designer now to make the designs I want instead of hiring this company that's focused on, doing mass projects rather than focused projects. So just a reminder, these are out and about, and that it's a good way to show your uh, uh, a good way to show others that we are here and we are a community, and for them to know that we have an information revolution. So we have to look at the situation in the Middle East. Some people are sending links. I don't know, guys. I don't click on links. And who's sending me links at the moment? No, people are not sending me links. I'm just getting notification. Okay, I spoke with this. Okay, sounds good. Let's look at the latest news. If you're just joining us, there is a lot of things happening, some developments, and there might be some more escalations on different levels that you have not known about, especially if you did not attend Malcolm Nann's podcast today, Black Man Spy, with Malcolm Nance. If you missed that this morning, this is important stuff that you need to know. Iran claims that it attacked Bahrain, Kuwait, Oman, Jordan, and saying that they hit U.S. Military sites in retaliation for Washington's renewed bombardment of its southern coast. The U.S. attacks on Iran come aimed at regarding the standoff over the Strait of Hormuz, with the explosions reported in port cities Bandar Abbas, Sirik, Jask, as well as Kashim Island. The exchange of fire comes a day after the U.S. military said it hit at least 140 targets in Iran, and Tehran launched retaliatory attacks on Bahrain, Kuwait, Oman, Qatar, and Jordan, like I mentioned earlier. U.S. President Donald Trump claims that the Strait of Hormuz is open, while Iran, Persian Gulf States Authority insist no travel is allowed until stability and calm are restored. And I quote, "It is must be known that this is getting expanded, and this is not the most serious part of the news today. An hour, 2 hours ago, something serious happened. What happened, Wajid? What are you talking about? Saudi Arabia targeted Yemen International Airport, where Houthi planes was planning to take off, and the Saudi government has attacked that site. And as soon as that attack happened, the plane filled with Houthi officials started landing. Interesting. This attack must start with this is Hormuz news you can use. stealing it from Colbert. Miss you, Colbert. We wish you come to my show if you have a minute, okay? So we can have Hormuz news you can use officially with you on my podcast. So regarding Hormuz news you can use, there's several things. You got Iran shutting the Strait of Hormuz. You got Trump attacking Iran. But then you have Saudi Arabia expanding the attacks. Of course, there must be some U.S. intervention here, convincing the Saudis to get involved, because I believe the Saudis are comfortable getting involved in Yemen. But these guys don't mess around. These guys have already promised to escalate back and fight. That's crazy. Why is that crazy? Because this is exactly what would happen if you want the situation to get worse. Why would you, as the president of the United States, or the secretary of war, what a shameful, a secretary of war is coming to people like the Saudi Arabia and stuff, and go, we need you to go and attack the Houthis in Yemen, yes. And we need you in Syria, people, to attack the Hezbollah. And we need you to change the government in Iraq. And we need you in Lebanon military with several $100 million every few years to go and fight Hezbollah that has an annual budget of $1 billion a year. Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah. I'm thanking God for the benefit of the mind. We say Alhamdulillah al ni'mat al-aql. Thank you for the blessing of the mind. How this leadership is thinking, I have no idea. How this leadership is thinking, they're going to solve this issue, is total BS. On what end are you going to solve this issue? Your most hawkish senator now is dead and Trump is sad. I don't know, maybe his hormones will change here in a second. His yeah, his testosterone might change now since he's a little stressed. You don't know. The man cycle is also real. We have to take a look. Is the moon full yet or not? Look at his zodiac signs as well. What are we supposed to do? You can ask your questions here. There is a setting by the end of the episode. I can just change the setting, and I won't be able to see any comments. I'll only see the questions that you post. So you can just post your questions here, and I'll be able to see it. I don't know if Mercury is in retrograde, but think about it. Confirmation with Iran should not be expanded. Saudi backed Yemeni Presidential Leadership Council said that they had the head of Yemen, Saudi backed Presidential Leadership Council, has described his force not to expand the scope of this confrontation against Iran. This is the Saudi backed militias. Now, this is for you to understand that the Saudis are also scared. They're scared as shit. This they hit the Houthis. Now the Houthis are threatening. Listen to the statement. Earlier, Saudi Arabia strikes hit Sana'a International Airport while trying to prevent an Iranian aircraft from landing on the Houthi-controlled airfield, according to the Houthis, who are being supported by Iran. I quote, I directed that the scope of the confrontation not be expanded in order to prevent Iran from dragging Yemen into wars that serve its interests, said the chairman of the Saudi backed militia. The U.S. further, and here, let me expand this. In the future, we will not allow aircraft to violate Yemeni airspace, whether it's by Sana'a airport or by other airports, he said. So he's saying that these planes are violating the Yemeni airspace, and that's why they have attacked. But they don't want to join the conflict. So it's interesting. That's an interesting excuse for why they have attacked that plane, especially that the Houthis also live with them. Their neighbors, right? That's their airspace as well. I think there's more to the story that we don't know yet. There will be more coming out. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. The geopolitical landscape of the Persian Gulf in the mid 2026 features a severe uh, 1 second. Why is this not pulling up? So there's two things about this war and the Persian Gulf that keeps disrupting this agreement and the ground level kinetic retaliations. On one hand, the United States Iran war, which began in February of 2026, resulted in a mutual destructive dual blockade imposed by Washington and Tehran. The Islamabad Memorandum of Understanding, signed in the mid June 2026, was presented by Western policymakers as a diplomatic breakthrough to restore transit through the Strait of Hormuz. Iranian strategy utilized the MOU ambiguities to institutionalize control over the strait via the newly established Persian Gulf Strait authorities. The interim ceasefire collapsed on July 8th, 2026, following kinetic attacks on commercial vessels, including Qatari LNG carriers and the bulk LNG carriers. No need to mention the names. Operation Epic Fury and the war of attrition is real. Here's why. Hostilities commenced on February 2028 with the highly coordinated primitive U.S. Israeli airstrikes targeting Iran military facilities, nuclear sites, and high level leadership for several reasons. The main reason was to change the Iranian government. That was the main that was the main reason. But as soon as they did that, they realized that's not going to happen anytime soon. Codenamed Operation Epic Fury by the Department of Defense and Operation Roaring Lion by the Israeli Defense Forces, the operation resulted in the assassination of the Iranian Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei and severely degraded the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. But yet, they were not able to bring down the government. We just saw Ali Khamenei's funeral and his wife, his daughter in law, and his granddaughter, all being honored by global leaders from across the world. The IRGC retaliated with highly uh, decentralized strategy of asymmetric hybrid warfare, formally declaring the Strait of Hormuz dead zone for U.S., Israeli, and allied vessels by late March. The Iranian tactical doctrine shifted to aerial denial operations using swarm of fast attack speedboats, kamikaze drones, heavily deployed anti-ship ballistic missiles, at least 1,000 kilograms of widespread these ballistic missiles exceed 1,000 kilograms. I don't know why included that for some reason. The widespread naval mine deployment also was a great issue, and only small ships are able to pass through that. There is efforts of demining the strait during the ceasefire. They were able to take some out, but Iran has retaliated and said that they're the only ones that are allowed to remove or demine the Strait of Hormuz. We've seen ships take pictures of small boats, fishing boats, taking pictures of these sea mines floating. They look very scary, very ominous, if I'm being honest. What they essentially do is that they if a ship passes through, they essentially explode, making such a large bubble that the ship would break in half. Like the reason these things work is not because they explode inside the ship. No, the explosion they make makes such a huge bubble wave that the ship that is so wide would break in half because of the waves and the physics that are happening. So it's actually very powerful stuff. It usually doesn't hit directly the ship. It's usually this technology that makes this bubble that would break the ship in half. I should probably post a video about how that works. And I think someone who's better than me to talk about it would be Malcolm. We should ask him that question tomorrow. Remind me to ask him that question tomorrow, or ask that question on his chat, because he would answer that. The reason I say that is because Malcolm actually was in a ship that got hit by a sea mine. So if anyone can tell you about what it is, how it feels like, the physics, the experience, it would be Malcolm. Malcolm would be your guy. And I think that would be a good one to talk about. The physical blockade was augmented by sophisticated electronic warfare utilizing GPS spoofing and global navigation satellite system jamming to force commercial vessels into danger zones. The conflict expanded regionally, prompting the US to deploy B-1B strategic bombers, Europe, NATO to activate air defense system over Turkish airspace, and Ankara to deploy F-16S to the northern Cyprus. Iran mobilized its axis of resistance with Hezbollah engaging in heavily attrition warfare from Lebanon, and proxy forces launched coordinated drone strikes against allied assets in Saudi Arabia and Kuwait. People don't understand. Some of the Iranian attacks on the Gulf states didn't come directly from Iran, came from Iraq and came from Lebanon with drones. I've reported on that before, but some of you may not have seen it. The by mid June 2026, the U.S. military casualties have reached 17 people killed and 548 people wounded, while Israel sustained 40 military fatalities and 1,461 wounded. U.S. intelligence have estimates have indicated over 6,000 Iranian military fatalities, alongside the destruction of over 155 naval forces and 190 missile launchers and 16 mine layers. That is the damage that we have done over Iran. Now, I haven't mentioned the damage, the physical damage, or the number of aircrafts and uh, machinery that was damaged for the United States, from batteries to aircrafts to other things. I only mentioned the casualty and the wounded uh, for the U.S. And Israel. Just to be clear about that. But there is a economic cognitive here, specifically regarding the duel of the blockade. Following the collapse of the brief April ceasefire, and I told you the ceasefire will collapse. I hate to tell you I told you so, but did I say that the ceasefire is not going to work? Didn't I tell you that this is just a dream? Didn't I tell you that this war is going to take at least 6 more months? You heard it from me. You probably questioned it, which is okay. It has happened several times. The thing is when you study this stuff and you look at it over and over again and you compare it to other things that has been happening, you start seeing the flaws real quickly. You start seeing the loopholes, you start seeing the issues. And again, we got someone that usually deals with genuinely, someone that usually deals with properties and real estate, and he's trying to make a nuclear agreement slash military deal slash economic deal with Iran. But if he's entering, it's as if he's entering the camel market. What kind of experience do you have with camels? Nothing. Have you ever seen a camel in person? Probably not. Have you ridden a camel? Absolutely not. Have you fed a camel? Absolutely not. Have you been to a camel market? Nope. So what are you doing? Explain to me your strategy. You don't have a strategy. I said this on Malcolm Nance podcast. Malcolm doesn't have strategy. Not Malcolm. Our supreme leader doesn't have strategies. He has habits. He has habits. Because if he has a strategy, you would see him being played out quietly, secretly, intelligently, without showing his cards, without letting the world know what's going on. Mongolia has two hump camels. We have one humps. It's not the same camel, but they're camels. So what do you have going on? The market that Trump is entering, he has no experience in. And he's demanding, he's demanding the most beautiful camel. And Oman is, I don't know if you heard the news. This is serious news. Someone was questioning if I'm being serious. I'm joking around. No, I'm serious. Oman has a beauty camel contest, and they have disqualified several camels because they had plastic surgeries and they were getting injected. So they had to disqualify them. So Trump is trying to buy these camels, and he's like, I want the most beautiful camel I can get my hands on. And the Iranians are like, okay, we got these camels. We don't we're that they didn't tell him that these camels have plastic surgeries and Botox, but they're like, look, Mr. President, we have for you the most beautiful, the strongest camel ever. It was supposed to compete in the most beautiful beauty contest. I know you like beauty contests, don't you? I know you like beauty contests, Mr. President. We give you one very beautiful. Let me show you, Mr. President. And then they bring the camel with Botox. This is the deal. That's the MOU that Trump signed on in the Palace of Versailles. Comes on. Oh, wow. Look, this camel looks so fit. It's so beautiful. Yeah, yeah, that's my type of camel. That's right. It's fabulous. We'll call it the Trump camel. So beautiful, so majestic. Right outside the White House. Trump signs the Versailles Agreement because he wanted the UFC fight to go quietly for his birthday, and he wanted to say, "Look, I finished the war. The war is over on my birthday and America's birthday." Welcome, welcome to the show. This is the best camel you can get your hands on. I know that because a man came to me with tears in his eyes. He told me, "This is my favorite and best camel, but since you're the president of the strongest country in the world, we're giving you this camel." And I looked at it and I was like, "That's my type of camel. It's golden, like gold, plated with real gold." Following the collapse of the brief April ceasefire, U.S. President Donald Trump initiated Operation Economic Fury, on April 13th, imposing total maritime blockade on Iran ports. This created a dual blockade framework where the United States successfully eliminated as an estimated $435 million in daily Iranian economic activities, while Iran choked the whole global supply to energy and sulfur. This situation of transit through the Strait of Hormuz caused Brent crude oil prices to surge past $100 a barrel, eventually peaking to $126. The blockade trapped nearly 50% of the world annual sulfur and urea supply, which caused hundreds of millions of people to go into starvations across the world because they use that to be able to farm. Without that, you can't have productive farming and you cause hunger across the world. So, thanks to Trump and Iran, this blockade has caused millions of people to go into hunger. I've written an article about that in the beginning of the war. I've written so many articles. I need to. People get upset when I republish them for some reason. So if you want to go to them, go to my post section on my podcast on my channel. Not on my channel, on my profile, and then you'll see all the live streams and the articles that I post there, from the first article that I posted to the first interview that I've had. You can find it all there. I don't delete anything. And if you don't have access to it, is because you are not a paid member. Now, you have two options if you're not a paid member. You can ask me for a free paid membership if you can't afford it, and I'm happy to give you one. Or you can help fund this project and fund my work and fund the work that I do and become a paid member. And you'll have access to my content that's older than 2 weeks. So, do I have a paywall? Yes, I have a paywall. Why? Because I have exclusive content. Do you have to pay for that exclusive content? No, you don't have to pay for that exclusive content. But it is exclusive, and it is for people that want to learn, and it is for people that want to have that access. So it is $5 a month, $30 a year, or $1,000 for VIPs. You're up to choose whatever you like. I appreciate you, the ones who are paying and who are making becoming paid members, because they are making it possible for other people who cannot afford it to have access to it. So I hope that makes sense. I appreciate everyone that has been standing by my side, and I'm more than happy to give away memberships. More than happy to give away memberships. Just ask me for one. People have been sending me emails asking for one, and I have responded to them. People who have sent me not text message. I don't receive text messages. People who have sent me messages on Substack, I have answered them. And if you have said me or on any of the posts that I made on my message boards for my channel, you'll find a message. I already sent you a message asking for your asking for your email associated with your Substack account, so I can add it. And everyone that has had difficulties, I've reached out to Substack to square that out, and they have been able to square it out. So I'm I'm willing to put in the work for you guys to get the membership, even if you can't afford it, and even if there's technical difficulties. I'm genuinely like trying to get people educated, but this is exclusive content. Thank you for your support. I yes. Also, Substack has a feature where you can donate memberships. You can donate memberships if someone says, for example, I need a membership on the live stream. You can reach out to that person and you can ask for their email and you can donate a membership to that person as well. So you have also that ability. YouTube allows you to donate a membership on YouTube, and that is out there for YouTube to have. And some of our generous members here are wanting to donate memberships to other people. So we have generous members who have been doing that, and I'm thankful for that. This is just to show you that this is a community. This is not just a podcast. Um, if you are an event planner, please reach out to me. I need your help to set up an event for you guys to attend if you want to attend it. Um, I could try to find a concierge to help me set it up, but I would rather do it with I would rather do it with the community that I'm with. So if any of you is uh, an event planner or knows an event planner, send them my way. Globalized logistics suffered systematic failures highlighted by India's aluminum supply chain experiencing 40 to 50% construction as shipping volume drops over 95%. Widespread regional airspace closure forced major carriers to ground fleet and reroute intercontinental flights, claiming in bankruptcy of the Spirit airline on May 2nd, 2026, due to surprising jet fuel cost. Did I say Sprite? I meant Spirit. I'm thirsty. That was funny. I said Sprite. Spirit Airlines. Spirit Airlines. Wasn't that the one that you have to pick your seat on the spot? Thankfully, I've never been on a Spirit airline. Thankfully. Maybe once. Uh, so the U.S. Government Accountability Office estimated the direct cost of the war to the U.S. is to the taxpayers right now is around $113.3 billion by mid June 2026, with macroeconomic global costs of approximately $1 trillion. That's low estimate. We need to deconstruct the Islamabad MOU. The MOU was signed on June 15 and ratified on June 17. It functioned as a flawed 60-day interim mechanism for having way to have talks about peace. So all it did, it said, let's agree about us having to sit down and start talking about peace. That's all it said. Let's stop the conflict, let's stop the shooting, and the conflict stops at all fronts, including Lebanon, the free transit of Hormuz, and other stuff. Article 1 declared a permanent termination of military operation, but failed to address Iran use of proxies, non-state armed groups in Iraq, Yemen, and Syria. And also, I forgot to add, of course, and failed to recognize Israel's war in Lebanon. I don't know how I missed that. So, of course, the Israel war and Lebanon and Iran's control over the proxies. But I guess what I was trying to say originally is that the MOU did not include the Iranian proxies in Yemen and Syria. But I think that if it said all front, then it did include them all. Yeah. So Iran had an issue with controlling their proxies because they're not proxies. They're allies. They're their own independent sovereign leaders that follow the Iranian supreme. Back in the day when the kings of Europe all followed the leadership of the Catholic Church, and the Catholic Church would tell them what to do. That's basically what it is. Each of them have their own kingdom. Each of them has their own government. Each of them has their own system. Each of them has their own militia. Each of them has their own leadership. But when the Pope says something to any of the kings, they follow. Here's the thing, they also have the choice to do something like Britain did, create their own church. When the king wanted to get divorced and the church said no, he was like, okay, I'm going to create my own church. So it's very similar to this. At this point, none of the leadership and the Shi'i leadership around the Middle East want to take that leadership from Iran. So Iran has their own pope, Vilayatullah al-Faqih, Mujtaba Khamenei. He's the one that dictates the faith of the Shi'i people. And it happens that these leaders from these countries are following that faith. It's just really important to explain it that way because saying proxies undermine all of those details. Remember, you're talking about the Middle East. We're still like talking. Arabic is spoken like Game of Thrones. The way we talk in Arabic, the way we talk in Arabic is still like Game of Thrones, even though it's in slang. So you have to know like how we're thinking. I don't know if you know, but these are men-run societies. These are not societies that live with women together. These are society full with testosterone. You can smell it in the air when you're walking or when you go to a wedding. You walk in, all the men, they all think they're lions. I am the man here. No one is better than me. No one will beat me. That's the reality. So when the mentality is that way, and you have religious affiliation, and the mentality of thinking is still associated with the way Game of Thrones is thinking, how do you think the conflict is going to end anytime soon? You see any woman bringing peace in Iran? No woman bringing peace in Iran. The Yeah, yeah. Even Trump White House now, the Rubio, Marco Rubio, uh, Patricia Hegseth, the rest, they're all men. Only his chief of staff is a woman. Who else is a woman? No, he had other women. But in terms of foreign leadership, they're all full of testosterone problem. They're all full of testosterone problems. That's an issue. The man hormones, I'm telling you, you need to watch the moon. John Wick ideology with the testosterone, with the man-ridden society, with the religious extremism, with the revenge idea. Where do you think this is gonna end? You ain't fucking with nobody. You're fucking with people that want to go crazy. And at that point, their wives and their daughters and their kids are cheering them on. Go kick their ass because their homeland is being attacked. And when your homeland is being attacked, if you have any strong religious affiliation, you're 100% with the government, even if you had any disagreement before. All of a sudden, Iran is 90 million, you got 20 million ready to serve. You don't need the 90 million, you just need 20 million. The US has no capability of taking care of 20 million, even 10 million. Boy, you killed what? 1,000. What did I say earlier? Casualty, casualty, casualty. 6,000 people killed. You have wasted half of your strategic weapon piles and you only killed 6,000 people. Like, I'm trying to put things into perspective for you. You have used half of your military strategic missiles. To refill them, you need 4 or 5 years from now to get back to where you started. You're cannibalizing your military so you can continue the war in Iran. And you are fighting a war of attrition where they are spending a fraction of the price, have 10 times the military people that can keep this war going, and you have convicted people, uh, com, people with conviction that are willing to die for their country. Listen. If Americans are being attacked in their homeland, this all would change. I'm not saying this should happen. I'm just saying when America is being attacked in the homeland, the perspective changes. All of a sudden, Americans are trying to fight this war. They get ferocious. You have to think about it this way. That's how the Iranians are feeling. America's attacking their homeland. So all of a sudden, they're going to feel fighty. Iranians are going to want to fight back. As soon as you attack any homeland, the people want to stand up for their country. That's a common thing. That's what common sense does. Well, you need to do some math. How much missiles do we have? How many bunkers do they have? How deep are the bunkers? How many people in the military? How many people can volunteer in the military? I repeat this again and again and again. When the president says to the military, "I need you to go to war," and the general goes, "Mr. President, we're 60% ready," and the president goes, "I don't care, go to war." Do you think the general say, "I can't go to war"? The general is going to go to war 60% ready. That's the reality of what it is to be a commander in chief and what it means to be a general. US did not do its homework regarding the Strait of Hormuz. The US did not do its homework regarding Iranian drones. It did not do its homework regarding the mosaic strategy of how it breaks down. And they are losing the war based on math. You could do mathematics to figure this out. People smarter than me could do this with mathematics and go, "Oh yeah, oh shit, this doesn't add up." Article 5. So let's go back to deconstructing the MOU. Article 5 of the MOU obligated Iran to facilitate free passage for 60 days, but left the future governance, management, and fee structure of the strait entirely ambiguous. Article 10. I'm just deconstructing why the MOU has failed. I'm going to repeat Article 1 now and then Article 5. Let's go start from the beginning. Article 1 is the declared ending of military actions on all fronts, including Lebanon, Syria, Iraq, Yemen, all fronts. This is supposed to bring it to an end. Iran did not hold up their proxies or their allies or their religious followers. And Israel did not end the war in Lebanon or did not end their expansion or did not retreat and continued killing people in Lebanon. The fifth article, which I just went over earlier, Iran needed to facilitate passage for 60 days for the Strait of Hormuz, free of charge, and then it left the future governance and management and fee structure of the Strait of Hormuz absolutely ambiguous. Article 10 required the immediate U.S. Treasury to waiver for Iran oil exports, unlocking an estimate $20 billion in hard currency for Iran right away. Trump got a lot of shit for that, but he needed the war to end so he can enjoy his birthday. Exploiting the MOU ambiguities, the Iranian government established the Persian Gulf Strait Authority on May 5th, mandating the agencies to authorize, regulate, and monetize all maritime transit. And they sat down with the Omanis to figure things out. And they said, whether the Omani is with us or not, we're going to keep going with this. The Persian Gulf Strait Authority institutionalized by prior by the IRGC. It was an extortion tactics, allowing compliant vessels. I don't know why I'm still with the vehicles. Access to an IRGC coordinated safe route upon payment of non discriminatory tolls. They accepted the Iranian yuan, yen, yuan, yen, yuan. Is it yen or yuan? Forgot. Anyways, and they also were accepting Trump coin, and they also started charging whether yen is Japan. One, thank you. So, and vessels that weren't complying, they got shot at. Yen, thank you. Vessels that weren't complying, they got shot, they got hit, or they got warning shots. All that intimidation happened, and every time they did that, the insurance prices went up, and ships only would go through the Strait of Hormuz, easy pass lane, with Iran's permission, because it would be cheaper to pay the 2 million toll over fixing the boat and getting your boat towed, where you have to pay to get it untowed. So make sure to pay your parking ticket. The By June 4th, Iran reported that over 300 major shipping companies, primarily serving Asian energy market, had have gone through the PGSA, which is the Persian Gulf Strait Authority, and they were permitted to pass. The U.S. Office of Foreign Assets Control countered on May 27th, officially designating the PGSA under the Executive Order 13224 and linking the agency to terrorism. So, according to Trump, this is financing terrorist organizations, and therefore, this is a terrorist entity and needs to end. And according to him today, the Strait of Hormuz is open. The U.S. Office of Foreign Asset Control directive prohibited transit payment across all medium, threatening non US firms with secondary sanctions and complete exclusion from the US financial system. So, anyone that did deal with the IRGC PGSA was threatened by Trump's administration that they would get sanctions and wouldn't have access to US financial markets, which is a big deal. The People's Republic of China's legislated a blocking order to explicitly shield its maritime fleet from U.S. Military. So I don't know if you remember, but China said if the U.S. military try to intercept any of our ships, our military will intervene. So China was like, "You fight us, we'll fight you, bitch. And you can't fight us all. You can't fight me and fight them and fight everyone at the same time." And U.S. allies didn't say nothing. None of U.S. allies said something. And they passed a law saying that they will penalize the U.S. fleets, and this resulted in regulatory a two international regulatory laws that went against each other. China was saying that they would penalize U.S. ships that have been affecting the blockade, and Trump is saying that they will penalize ships that go through the Strait of Hormuz, easy pass, and it goes on. Um, Let me find the full thing that I wrote for it. I'll do that later. Yeah. So China was passing laws to shield itself from its maritime fleet from U.S. penalization. That's right. That's right. Now there's the Oman issue that's going on. I can go on for a little bit longer if that's okay with you guys. Oman is currently finding itself in a dilemma. Operating in a shared territorial waters with Iran, Oman adopted a posture of active, lawful neutrality to survive conflicting U.S. and Iranian pressures. The U.S. and its Gulf Cooperation Council allies partners demanded Oman reject to joint tolling under the United Nations Convention of the Law of the Sea, Article 38, which asserts the absolute right of transit passage. The issue here is that the borders of the Omanis and the Iranians extend 12 miles into the, or kilometers into the strait, and that is basically the whole strait. So it is technically legally their borders. Tehran aggressively pressured Muscat, which is the capital of Oman, to jointly implement the PGSA toll regime, defying the strait as a sovereign waterway subject to neutral taxation. Oman attempted a diplomatic compromise utilizing a UNCLOS Article 43, aiming to reframe Iran demands as legal service fee for maritime safety and pollution prevention. So the Omanis needed some sort of a compromise, and that compromise essentially has to do with how this fee is done. They can't just be taxing it. It has to be related to a service regarding their own sovereign waterway, and it has to do with pollution and safety, and it has to do with taking care of the area. So they are justifying it legally by UN maritime laws under Article 43. Iranian deputy foreign minister said publicly where he dismantled this compromise by rejecting ambiguous arrangements, isolating Muscat and violating the unilateral Iran enforcement. I just want to tell you that the Omanis don't fully agree with the Iranians, but they are sharing borders with the Iranians. Iranians is their real neighbor right there, but they're also an ally to the United States. But Trump is not being a good friend. Trump threatened Oman several times while they are being the peace negotiators for the United States and Iran. Again, Trump doesn't have strategies, he has habits. Those habits are threatening people, beating people up, getting whatever he wants, whether you like it or not. And that doesn't work well with allies. That doesn't work well with your friends globally, especially if they're your strategic friends. That may work one time, two time, but then you keep doing that, people will step away from you. People would want to have nothing to do with you anymore. So this is what the best way to put this in game theory is when the Islamabad MOU operates as an iterated prisoner's dilemma, where the unilateral temptation to defect overwhelmingly dominates the risk of unilateral compliance. When it is more for you, it is more beneficial for you by every measure to defect by going against the other person, then you're going to see this MOU fail right away. And if we attempt to make another MOU that sounds similar to that, then you can expect the next one also to fail. Reason I say Trump has tactics, not strategies, is because I see it play as in a game of chicken. Game of chicken is an interesting game where you got two people in a car driving against each other full speed. The person that swerves loses face. The person that keeps going wins. But if you hit each other, you end up with a catastrophe. Every time, Iran knows that if they swerve, there's someone outside that's going to shoot them and they will lose all the powers. Meanwhile, Trump on this side knows if he swerves, he can have a bad weekend at the Mar-a-Lago and come back. So every time the Iranians know that there's a gun on their head. If there's a gun on your head and you're being told you do not swerve, are you going to swerve? You're not going to swerve. So the Iranians are driving full speed. Their ass ain't going to swerve. They're ready to hit you whether you like it or not. And every time you are bluffing. And that's what is about being a blackmailer. Most of the time you bluff. A lot of time people in blackmail, they bluff. I don't know if you know, when I was getting in the safe house and I still didn't get rid of all of my electronics at the time, I had people from the Saudi embassy threaten me. They blackmailed me. They're like, "Oh, we have pictures of you naked." I said, "Okay." Said, "If you don't come back, we'll share the pictures." I'm like, "Okay, let me know when you want to share it. I'll share it before you." Destroy their ability to threaten you. As soon as you do that, they don't have leverage. I don't know. I lost all the comments all of a sudden. I was in the safe house. Saudi government wanted me to come back. What do? They threaten you. We'll do this. We'll do that. Oh, your family won't be able to leave the country. I don't have any communication with my family. Why? I ain't coming back. Oh, your dad won't be able to leave. Okay, so what? As soon as you give in, you're done. Especially in blackmail. Stuff like that, where they want you. Now, once they have real leverage on you, they have your kids, you care about your kids, care about your daughter. But when you show that person that this thing doesn't matter to you, all of a sudden they lose all the leverage. America keeps saying, "Oh, we're gonna close the straits, or we're gonna target you." And Iran was like, "Okay, we've had worse. We've had worse days than this before. We can keep going. This is life or death for me. You're gonna keep going. I genuinely can't see anyone's comments now. Let's see if I could change this. Interesting. I don't know what's going on. Let's see if I write a comment. Would it come out? No, I don't even see my own comment. Okay. Well, that's not fun. So, who's going to lose this game of chicken again? I think it's going to be Trump. No question about it. No question about it. Now, let's see if I could fix this question thing or if I could enter my live stream using a different phone. Oh, shoot. I need to go here. Live. This was 9:54. I need to go view recording. I need to go here. I need to go here. Shut thumbnail. Close. Continue. For everyone. Okay. Let's see here. Okay. Post has been made. See if I can go to my live stream. I can't get into my live stream. So I can get into my live stream here. Oh, I got in. Now I can see my comments, but that's through the iPad. But I don't see any of the previous comments on here. That's weird. If you guys want to write your questions again for me, I would appreciate it. I have 10% left in my batteries on my phone. I don't want to answer your questions. Can you try to go out and come back? Let's try it. Here you go. I'm back. Worked. Let's see the questions now. Now I see I have 333 people. I just don't see the questions still. I see the hearts. I see the questions on the iPad, but I don't see it on here. You can ask them in the live chat. I have my iPad going, so I'm reading your questions on here. But I didn't see any of the previous comments since this wasn't open into the live stream. So if you just want to ask your questions now, I can read it now. Apologies for this technical difficulties. We need to talk to Substack. Welcome, welcome everyone to the show. Hi, Mama K. Hi, Mandy. Hi, Shannon. Hi, Dave. Hi, Teresa. Hi, Sandra. I'm waiting for your questions. My phone has 9% left in it, so let's get that done correctly. Oh, let's see if I can plug in my phone until you guys write your questions. It was reported that Lindsey Graham and his last call said that he couldn't die because he needed to fix relations with Saudi Arabia and Israel. What was he talking about? So before he died, I reported on this yesterday, and if you go to my page, I have reported on the fact that Lindsey Graham last thing was trying to help Ukraine win the war, and he was trying to expand the Abrahamic Accord between Saudi Arabia and Israel. And in the last few days of his life, he was meeting with Saudi and Israeli officials, specifically regarding the Abrahamic Accord and regarding convincing people and the Saudi government to join. So it was the talks were real. The things was about it. So he did that. Oh, finally, I can see the questions, but I don't see any of the previous questions. If you have any questions that you've asked earlier, I would appreciate it if you could ask it again because I can't see any of your previous questions. Where are the Houthis at regarding escalating the threats to Yemen? So the attack on the Houthis just happened about 2 3 hours ago. The Yemenis are going to escalate the situation, and they said they're going to escalate. Now they might have to be figuring out that logistically, figuring out where they're going to attack. They do have the tools and the means. It might take them a little longer to communicate with other intelligence agencies to give them precise targeting on Saudi Arabia. Remember, they have Iran on their side, and Iran has Russia and China on their side. So the Houthis could technically ask for logistical intelligence in terms of assets to hit and strategies to use. These are not stupid people, even though they're hillybillies, like Malcolm says. They have been going to Russia and getting trained. They have been sent to other countries like China and getting trained on how to use the specific weapons. So these are semi well trained people who have access to intelligence and have access to money and have access to weapons. And that's kind of your most dangerous people to deal with. And they have shown that they are capable of controlling the Strait of Hormuz. You also have to remember that they may not always have the best communication. Hooray! What did Saudi Arabia hope to accomplish with bombing airport? Could the Yemeni government capture the weapons after the plane? So the plane was landing coming back from Iran, as I understand. The other thing was no, I don't think they were necessarily trying to control any weapons. You have the Houthis who are backed by the Iranian government. And then there's another government that is backed by the Saudi government. And that government apparently has said that their airspace is closed for all planes, including planes coming from Iran and the Houthi planes. And they have basically asked for the plane to be grounded and didn't listen. So they asked the Saudi government to make a threat to strike to show that they are willing to hit that plane. So as soon as the plane was taking off, it started landing, and it landed in Hodeidah. So that's the picture. How would previous presidents handle the current situation now? Obama, George Bush, Bush the father, Reagan, Clinton. Listen, you should ask them. They're still alive, some of them. While they're alive, why should I speak on their behalf? I like your question, though. I like how you're thinking. But unfortunately, these former presidents aren't going to be running the country anytime soon. The question that I think that's worth asking is, if anything happens to Trump, how would JD Vance run the country? Because that's the closest thing to the next person in line. And to me, that is more important to figuring out uh, whether the next person in line is going to be uh, expanding this war or actually finding ways to end it. Uh, I feel like that is a more important question. Although you have a good question, your question is would bring good strategies to the table that would help us figure out solutions for it. Unfortunately, the people in the White House aren't looking for these type of solutions. Is Pakistan still working to get an agreement? Yes, including Qatar and Oman. They're all working on getting an agreement. Zaydina Vance, who knows, who he's never been tested. Well, here's let's put things into perspective for you guys. J- our president, may God extend his life and make him the longest living person on earth and make him the happiest person, our supreme leader, His Majesty and Royal Highness, President Donald Trump. You know, he's 80 years old, going into 81, 82, I don't know. But our Miss Lindsay, she passed away at 71. His Majesty Royal Highness, the previous Emir of Qatar, uh, passed away at 72. Trump's health is not necessarily the best health out there. So I think it is something to think about. So that's why I think it's important to think what J.D. Vance would be like, because the death of these two put things into perspective for me. You know, the illusion of going to war to make yourself safe really played out here with our friend Lindsay. Lindsay, the most hawkish person, the one that go fight terrorism with guns and fire, go kill the Iranians, go change this government, go do this, go do that. Why? For the national security. I am the America first. We need America secure. Has amazing security guards. Okay. By the end, there was a torn what they call it? Utoria. What is it called, Teresa? Lindsey Graham had a what? and he was tired, and he was very tired, and he had a torn something, and he died because of it. A rota, or a rota, a rota. He had a torn aorta. He had a torn aorta, and no one paid attention to it, and no one looked at his health closer. These things can be messed easily, from my understanding, and people don't necessarily a aorta, 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 aorta. That's the closest thing, huh? Aorta, aorta, or aorta. Your English is kind of we'll take it. Does a man like Lindsey Graham, who has World Hair Health Care System, not know that he has uh, coronary artery disease bad enough to cause an aortic aneurysm? Most people in our age group are on statin medication and or have had a scan or x-ray that would indicate whether or not we have been uh, building our. Listen, American healthcare is interesting. There is something called preventative health, and I am, because I have a lot of health complications and I have 10 surgeries here, surgery on my left, two surgeries on my right knee. I have a lot of issues, right? And aorta, aorta. Anyways, because I have complicated health, I go to something called executive health or health prevention or concierge health. And the idea is that they do more tests for you. Well, from experiencing that, I still feel like they still miss stuff, a lot of stuff. And I think I need to go back and ask them about to do more tests and other, figuring out other stuff that I need to figure out. But I don't know if what kind of attention he was getting regarding his health. This question is about Lebanon. I've noticed that it is split into governance. Would these be smaller or what we have in America we call states? Yes, all governments have that. All world countries have provinces, and whether you call them states, provinces, or whatever. But yes, that is basically the same. Or governances or governance. But the other thing that's interested about the Lebanese government, it's divided toward three faiths: the Sunni, Shia, and the Coptic Christians. No question is elementary here. All questions are welcome. That's why I'm here. Don't feel ashamed. Don't feel weirded out by asking your questions. I am here to answer the questions that you don't know. And my philosophy about that is that the more questions that you don't have answered, the more you fill it up with your own fear, the more someone else can fill it up with misinformation. And that's how you create phobias. And the more that you know about something, the more that you can prepare about it. And if you have if you have honest answers about these questions, you are more informed. So your elementary questions are the most important questions out there. I'm a cardiac nurse, and this is amazing. Sounds like he knew something was wrong. Hard to survive any uh, decision, regardless of his coverage. Death always wins in the end. Aurora, Aorota, whatever, is the new world of the day. Is the new world of the day. Large pipe that, when it breaks, you die without a very fast fix. Wow, that's a good explanation. Thank you. So it's apparently, I don't know what the where it is or what it is, but if it breaks, you die. Khalas. That's it. No more. When will Israeli neighbors sign a document that says Israel has a right to exist? I don't understand your questions. They are separated into religious factions, and those factions are led by family dynasties. Yes. Someone is asking about Lebanon governmental separation of power because he was asking a question earlier about that. So, yes, Lebanon is divided to three sects, and these three sects have family dynasties that have been ruling these political powers. Question: can you still open a chat every day, please? Like regarding everyone's questions? Oh, sure. I also published an article. So everything I mentioned today is off of my article that I wrote and my team wrote earlier and was able to publish. We're currently doing another research paper that would be published probably by tomorrow. I feel like if I publish it now, it'd be too late. People like to receive their articles really early in the morning. I did post a question here, please. And who needs a paid membership on the house? I also posted another thread on the chat for people who want a paid membership on the house. So after this live stream, feel free to go there, or during this live stream, feel free to go there, ask your questions, and you can also uh, find the other thread and tell me if you want a paid membership. Oh, here you go. People already asking for membership. I'm glad. I'll start giving you guys membership and asking you for emails after the live stream so it would be easier on me, but I will be reaching out to you. I don't see any other questions for the day. The YouTube video is already out for today on YouTube, so if you want to go watch that, I'd appreciate your support on going to watch that soon. This on workout day. Let's go. Content, view all. Yeah. Um, I have to figure this out here in a second. Anyways, Thank you everyone for tuning in. I appreciate you guys. Love the fact that you show up every day. I love the fact that you guys support me. You guys make me feel very humbled and special. So thank you for everyone. Apparently, some of you have already been fundraising for me to have some money for my lawyer to apply for my U.S. citizenship here coming in August. So thank you for that. I really appreciate it. And appreciate your support. Appreciate the fact that people have been signing up for paid memberships. Um, if you're watching this on YouTube, subscribe, like, comment, join us on Substack. We have um, we have potentially an important guest this Wednesday. I'm waiting for a confirmation. If they won't be coming this Wednesday, they probably have to come next month. But I'm just waiting to hear out. Reaching out to other speakers like usual, figuring out trainings for you guys as well. So it's still in the works. We have not stopped doing that, and we're continuing to do that. If you have missed out on previous content and you want access to my content that is older than 2 weeks, whether it's articles or podcast videos, and you don't have access to it and you can't afford having access to it, go to my channel, go to the chat. There is a thread there asking if you want a membership. We'll happily give you one. But if you are able to support us, we appreciate it. Like, subscribe, and share. We'll see you tomorrow. And if there's any urgent updates today, I might go live again. But we'll see. Let me know if you guys have any ideas as well. مع السلامة. Bye bye. بالإنجليزي goodbye. Remember, you may not fuck with politics, but politics will always fuck with you.